Oh, well. Afternoon. So, giving you guys some time to think about it. Anyone into this? Star Trek for a new religion? New belief system? A new way forward? Clearly nothing else is working. All these old, failed schemes and scams of the last 8 millennium or so that you guys been around, not working. And I don't think there's anyone that's really gonna sanely try and argue that point. And if they do, well, fuck off, don't bother. Things are just peachy the way they are, go crazy. For the rest of us, how are we gonna get there? Okay, as I said, there's the Interstellar Space Mission Lottery Trust. There's the link right there. Okay. It's not the only way. Okay, you got to go through all that, whether you're going to go organization route or whatever. Star Trek religion is a fine name for me. Works for me. And you know, obviously, it has to be structured as a constitution and all the workings of a baseline that can't be changed without or deviated from without consent of everyone involved, all the stakeholders, the contributors. You know, as far as forming in this kind of a government and achieving funding, it requires in all the jurisdictions, you'd have to just, much like a church or organization does, to get charitable tax status, so you can offer directed taxation to people. They can pay to the tax man to spend killing brown people in Syria, I guess, is the latest place now. Cindy, relax! Cindy! They didn't want anything to do with this one. So, do we begin? I presume there's a few people with nothing to do this summer, young people, that are all quite familiar with the whole notion behind Star Trek, the secret purpose for humanity to go serve life to the universe like no other species or few other species can. We can do it all, from terraforming so life could be where it never would have existed, to the simplest thing, which we have to do to ourselves: nudge asteroids and comets along, put up barriers have them ready to for when that kind of space weather gets here. These are all just stepping stones, and clearly, without a direction, without a goal of advancement to appease to that thing that is hominid, not just Homo sapien, but all the hominids, and really all the mammals, that survival thing that has to be met. If it's not, well, then it defaults to competitiveness and taking what one another have, or preventing them from having it. Clearly knocking off 90% of the Homo sapiens and all kinds of other life is not going to cut it. Not going to cut it. clearly a first order violation of the meaning of life, survival. I'm sure anyone that's spent any kind of time watching some of the kind of stuff in my playlist, which is, you can turn on your TV and watch that kind of stuff. It's all pretty mainframe. Clearly realizes enough about the past now to know that there's no option. The option is extinction or survival. And the methods, the government, the corporations, the existing belief systems don't address this reality one bit. In fact, they see it as something to compete over. Interfere with, stop it, do anything, because their goal is self-perpetuation as entities, as organizations, in and of itself, irregardless of how hypocritical that is to the survival of its members or, in fact, itself, because without members, an entity, a collective entity, has very little virtue or potential. It's gonna take a lot of people, like I said, 10 billion. The first few to say, no, here's the new way, fuck all this old shit. And we can do this because we have a common communication cooperative, the ability to share knowledge and pool and get into a higher gear as individuals and as a collective entity or entities. There's no reason why this can't be all the, we'll stay right on the YouTube thing here because you obviously are all familiar with these channels. I send them out regularly. Like Space.com, and they're all doing these parallel efforts, and now we just need to nudge it along and join all these entities up. There's all kinds and forms that are headed in this direction. So let's just get bold and open about it. Those that want to wait for somebody to come solve their problems and spend their surplus effort creating scarcity, including scarcity of themselves, and just saying, oh, we're hopeless sinners, or whatever, well, so be it. All we can do is say, well, here's what we're doing, and of course protect ourselves from sabotage, because, just like you have to protect yourself from the elements, well, those are, as artificial as they are, those are the elements. There we go, eh? No, these aren't called symbols. I'm just, because I'm actually a radioactive waste myself, I'm just, trying to decide where I might want to accept my obligatory Codex Alimentarius designation. Yeah. And it don't matter. I'm happy to just know that there's potential to start this, and in its lowest levels, making money to finance itself and to meet the needs of its members, and go out and mine the asteroids in the process of preventing them from wiping out the Earth. I would imagine that the most logical step was, after you mine them out correctly, you turn them into a Transpermia Express, an interstellar ship. And as you're learning to do this stuff, you're getting better, and I certainly not going to live long enough to see it. But maybe my genes will, because that's how the first is going to be done. It doesn't matter if it takes 20,000 years to get to where it's going, as long as the cargo inside is protected and makes it there, and there's something to help it sprout at the other end. And hopefully a whole database like you guys were supposed to get. But, well, that's a story for another day, I guess. The Dr. Tom Exploring story, but, well, do you want to get working on the solution? To a higher level than just describing the problems? Let me know and make it so.